The thunder is roaring outside here in Oklahoma City, but the question is, will they strike in Game 1 here in Paycom Center? This has been one of the loudest arenas in the NBA this postseason. These fans have been waiting a long time to see their team back in the NBA Finals. Hey, welcome to NBA Countdown alongside the one and only Stephen A. Smith, the architect of the four-time champion Golden State Warriors, Bob Myers, NBA champion Kendrick Perkins. I'm Malika Andrews. Y'all, we are getting there. We are close to tip-off of the 2025 NBA Finals. And Stephen A., I need you to set the stage like only you can here, because this is what we do this all year long for.
Listen, a lot of people, I'm a Knicks fan, and I have to tell you that the better team won, and the better team is in the NBA Finals, particularly for this matchup. The Indiana Pacers have been written off. They've been summarily dismissed because they're going up against an Oklahoma City team that's been the #1 seed after the regular season 2 consecutive years, closed the deal in terms of getting here to the NBA Finals, got a league MVP in Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, who is absolutely spectacular. You got a running mate in Jalen Williams that's one of only 2 players in the entire NBA, him and Evan Mobley of the Cleveland Cavaliers, that have been made an all-NBA team and an all-NBA defensive team this year. There's only 2 players that have done it. Those are the 2. You're the Indiana Pacers. You're going up against that, an elite defense with a front line and Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren that doesn't give you anything in the interior, and a linebacker playing football in Lou Dort that can guard anybody. And so you've got that going on, and Alex Caruso coming off the bench, and Cason Wallace. Let's not forget that. But in Indiana, you're Haliburton. They say he's an emerging star in this game, which he has shown. And if that brother shows up and plays in spectacular fashion, it changes the complexion of the series, because you'll know Indianapolis can score on the Oklahoma City Thunder. And if they can do that, they've got a chance.
The Thunder have been impressive. The Thunder have been dominant. The Thunder have been potent all season long here. You guys were on 2 different sides of the 2018 Finals. Perk, when you walked into the building and saw that Golden State team, that's what I think of when I think of dominance. I mean, that's what I'm asking. Do you have a doubt in your mind? Did you have belief that you could beat that kind of team?
I could say it now. Hell yeah, I had doubt. And listen, I wasn't even participating on the floor then, but I was averaging 2,500 claps a game. But I did have doubt. I mean, when you're looking at it, you got to be real at the moment. You're looking at Steph, Clay still being productive, Draymond Green with KD. Hell yeah, you know when the other team have the better team and they're playing at a higher level.
Is that what Indiana's facing?
You damn right.
I don't think it's the same. I mean, obviously I'm biased. Those Warrior teams had already won it, okay? This Oklahoma City, they haven't won a championship, right? We've all said they haven't won yet. I think they probably will win. Those Warrior teams had won at that point 2 already, had arguably top 10 all-time players on their team. I don't know where Shea ends up as far as that conversation goes. Here's what I'm wondering, Malika. Perk, what you didn't say was there's a tension to the finals. There's a stress level to the finals. Neither of the teams have been here for it. Pascal Siakam, he has felt what this is. Caruso has felt this, but as far as the main cause, of course. But Siakam, big contributor on a championship team. I'm wondering, these 2 teams, more than a lot of teams you see in the finals, there's no agenda. There's a purity to both these. These guys have fun. They're loose. I don't see any guys complaining about contracts, no murmuring behind the scenes. This is just basketball.
Yeah.
This is just basketball.
I would say this, though, Bob. You didn't hear that too much during a finals either. Like, at this stage.
But you can, if you're in the league, you know you can feel it.
I'm not questioning that. I'm just simply saying, when you're at the championship, when you're in the championship round, nothing else matters at that particular point.
But getting to that place, sometimes you're carrying some stuff.
So, but here's what I'm looking at with OKC that I think we have to pay attention to right here. They just have the ability to shut anybody down, and that's where their confidence emanates from. They have the potential to snatch your greatest weapon from you, and that could serve to demoralize a team whose success is predicated on offense, who's not elite defensively. You guys were elite defensively as well as offensively. That wasn't the case. That's not the case with these Indiana Pacers teams. That would be my concern.
It was bumpy for the first few months here, Perk. Indiana only 16-18 in its first 34 games of the season.
Yep, but I mean, listen. And then they turned it on. And Bob talked about this, Malika, the sticking together, right? Tyrese Haliburton, he got off to a slow start. I ripped them off. I thought they were going to be the team that was going to fall off. But I'm saying before the playoffs, Bob, and then they bounced back.
He did, because he had a lot of struggles. He wasn't selected as an all-star. And then he said this. I caught too much in the outside noise, allowing myself to think such negative thoughts about myself internally. It was the first time in my life I had real self-doubt behind everything I was doing. And I feel like my personal struggles were leading to team struggles, and I really applaud that vulnerability. And then, Stephen A., once the calendar turned to 2025, things turned around for Haliburton and the Pacers here.
Well, listen, the man can score. He can shoot the basketball. He loves clutch moments, and he's got weapons around him and great coaching. So none of that hurts. And by the way, when you're a point guard and you live up to that point guard credo, fellas, where you're passing first instead of shooting, that goes a long way.
And that led to him becoming an absolute showman in these playoffs, to your point. He had his Game 5 winner against the Bucks in round 1, and then it was a step-back 3 against the Cavaliers to win Game 2 of round 2. And then, of course, that bounce that I'm pretty sure plays behind Stephen A's eyes when he lays down at night. And when the dust finally settled, Indiana was back in the NBA Finals for the first time since Reggie's Pacers did it 25 years ago. So this is really a season to remember for Tyrese Haliburton and company. These miracle wins, let's call them, they've become an identity for the Pacers because they've won 3 games when trailing by at least 7 points in the final minutes of the postseason. All other teams over the last 25 postseasons have won a game like that just once combined.
Yeah, and here's what I'll say, and I'll ask all of you. The Pacers are outmatched, right? But they have one advantage, and I think it's a real advantage. What do you think that is? What's their advantage in this series? I think it's clear. What's their advantage?
It's not clear. Make it clear to me.
Coaching. This is not an attack on Mark Daigneault. Carlisle has been here before. In the coaching matchup, the Pacers have the advantage. And I say that more to compliment Rick than to diminish Mark. That's not an indictment of Mark, but I will promise you, if there's adjustments to be made in this series, Carlisle can do it, and that gives Indiana a chance in this series.
I don't believe it's going to happen courtesy of Indiana's offense, because I think that OKC's defense is real, and they're going to have something to say about it. What Carlisle can do is muck up OKC's offense.
And he did that against
Denver. Remember threw a zone at OKC for a little while that rattled them for a couple of games. We got to pay attention to that because that has the potential to happen. You call out, you got to think about keeping this clear. You got to a close game. That's what you got to do.
It just feels like Indiana has to play a perfect game. And not only do they have to play one, they have to play a perfect game 4 times to beat this OKC team.
And Malika, they've shot the best in the playoffs of any team percentage-wise. So that might get you 1 to 2 wins, just making shots. Although they are, like Perk said, going up against the best defense in the history of what? They turn you over more than anybody has. They score more off turnovers than anybody has. So that's going to be the challenge.
Did you hear Rick yesterday when he said, well, we're going to have to figure out a way to make shots in this series?
But that's what Oklahoma City does. They make it hard. They've been doing it all year.
Let's address the elephant in the room. 18 points per game is not going to get you any type of wins against this Oklahoma City Thunder team. We're talking about the biggest stage. Is Tyrese Haliburton ready to dance? And when I say dance, averaging 25 to 30 points, because that's what it's going to take. Oklahoma City Thunder, they're not the New York Knicks. You're not going to be able to push the tempo and get easy layups off of made field goals. They're going to get back. Tyrese Haliburton got to make tough contested twos, threes, get to the paint, and he also got to find a way to get to the free throw line.
When you talk about them getting back on defense, my question would be, you're confident that they're going to get back on defense, but so much so that their condition is up to snuff with them young legs, where you don't have to go to your reserves. Even though OKC can use its bench, you may not want to too much against a team as offensively potent as Indiana. I'm wondering about. I'm looking for ways to figure out how Indiana can win this series.
I'll tell you what. I'll give you a couple. Right? I think making shots. They do play with a pace. They keep you off balance. They may be able to keep this Thunder defense off balance. The other thing is, we talk about Haliburton's numbers. We just saw them. They're not great. When he's bad, he's bad. But when he's good, he's great. And he might be great. That's how they win. Haliburton has shown he has monster games. He cannot do it consistent. No.
We know SGA can't.
I know. That's the difference between those guys. So when he's good, he can win you a game.
That makes me think back to last series. Chris Finch, we played it here on Countdown, the sound of him in the locker room before the game saying, we need to take away J-Dub, we need to take away Chet. Obviously, they did not do that. Is there a way? You have to do either or. You either have to mitigate Shea or you have to mitigate the other two. Can you show us, Perk, I know you have a tape, how you slow down SGA?
Well, I mean, when you look at Indiana and you think about where they had success and run the tape here, you're looking at last series against the New York Knicks. They come out, they push the pace like Bob said, and you see Aaron Nesmith getting a wide open layup. But look, here's the thing. The pressure up top, right? Here go the pressure. 3 guys they're bringing up top. They're getting into you. They're making it hard for you to get it up. And by the time you get into your offense, look at the shot clock. It's 16. And now you're putting pressure on Karl-Anthony Towns. You're speeding him up, and now it's the turnover. Take a look at this clip right here again. Watch him. T.J. McConnell knocks down the 3-point shot. Watch the paces on this play. It's almost like AAU-style basketball, right? We're going to get up. We're going to bring 3 guys up, and we're going to try to slow you down. We're going to get physical. We're going to put the ball in somebody else's hands to bring it up. The problem that I have with this, though, Malika, Bob, Stephen A., now, obviously, they forced the turnover right here. I mean, a great hedge right here in the defense. I thought Nembhard did a great job of making Bronson miss. But here's the problem. That was successful against the New York Knicks, right? What's that?
Well, they press incredibly high.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
It's successful.
Yes, you said it. Can they do what they did to Brunson? Was not great in that series. I love you.
He still averaged about 30.
Well, he wasn't. He was uncomfortable.
He was.
Brunson, can they make that guy right there uncomfortable?
SGA will be mic'd up for sound tonight, so you can hear it in real time as he's playing in his first NBA Finals. NBA Countdown back on the other side.